So in this game you have a board that you're going to be placing tiles onto. You're going to give each player that's playing 10 red chips, which will allow them to move tiles that have been placed on the board if they want. You have these different score tokens, and you're going to shuffle them all up and put them face down, and they're just different numbers. And then you have an assortment of different shapes, and based on the player count you're going to have each player randomly draw a certain number of tiles. And then after you get your tiles, I didn't do enough because I'm not going to actually film a full video, but you will turn them over to see which colors you got for your different shapes. And my tiles probably weren't mixed up too well, but you can see there are different colors that you can get. And so on your turn, you're going to place or discard a tile onto the board, and then if you want, you can pay one of your red tokens to slide a tile. So tiles can only move horizontally or vertically. And there's some rules of this tile placement was, let's just say, like this. The red, and I was going to place this red tile. I could place it either touching the red in some way. It can touch another tile as long as it's touching the red as well. Or I can just take it and plop it down somewhere by itself. So if I took this red tile here and I placed it right there, then I'm touching this red tile. So this is a collection of 2 tiles. That's a collection of green tiles. And if I wanted to, on my turn, pay a chip to move a tile, maybe I want to move this over and up here, I can do that. I couldn't pay a chip and move a tile that is touching another green tile away from it. If a green tile is touching a green tile and you're going to move it, it has to move to touching another green tile. So if I paid this coin or chip, I could move this green tile away from that green tile to this green tile if I wanted. Or, I could move it down and over and down where they are touching in this spot here. So if, but you can't take 2 tiles that are touching, or, if I had, if this tile was touching a tile, it can't not be touching a tile after I move it. So what you're trying to do is you have your shapes and you're just choosing to place them somewhere on the board. So like I said, you have to place a shape, and then you can, if you want, choose to go through a stack of tiles. So there are 5 stacks of 6 tiles, and you don't know what's in each stack, but you would just pick a stack. So I could pick this middle one, and I could look through this stack and I could see, all right, well, what is even in this stack? And I can take a particular goal to work towards, or maybe I could see, depending how far it is in the game, if that goal has already been met. So I could look at this and say, okay, what do I want to take? Do I want to take one of these numbers, or which one of these numbers do I want to take? And what are the odds that I think that that this will end up happening by the end of the game? That is, that 4 different blue tiles are touching each other, or that 5 different blue tiles are touching each other, or that there's one blue tile just off by itself somewhere. So let's say I thought, I think this is going to happen. Well, then I would have to choose, well, how many points would I want to give myself as a bonus if that condition is met? If I take this tile and put it here, and if that condition is met, I'll get 1 point for having a 1 tile off by itself, whereas if I chose this tile and there were 4 tiles touching each other, I would get 4 points for that happening. You get however many points are on the numbered tile. So I could take this and I could say, well, how well do I think this is going to happen? Do I think it's possible that it happens? So I'm going to say, if it happens, not only am I going to get the 1 point, but I'm going to get 5 bonus points. Or do I want to say, now if this happens, not only will I get the 1 point, but also 10 bonus points, or also 15 bonus points. And so you only ever get to get 5 of these tiles. Now I am doing I set up essentially for a 3-player game. And after you choose your tile, right, you would just put it on your board. You take the other ones, you could mix them up. Ideally, the other people wouldn't have seen what is in the stack because you don't want them to know. And then you would just place it back on the board as it should go. So in a 3-player game, you would get 18 tiles. And you're only ever able to have 5 goals. So you need to decide where in the realm of your 18 turns do you want to start grabbing your goal tiles, right? Do you want to do them all early and just try and work towards all those goals throughout? Do you want to see how the board is forming and then take some? Or do you want to, wait close to the end and just kind of see what's already out there, what looks pretty solid, and just see if you take a stack and if that goal is already met or what have you, right? To what extent do you want to make those different types of decisions, right? And so all you're doing again on your turn is you are trying to meet those goals. So if I had a goal of trying to get 1 blue tile by itself, right, and I had a blue tile, maybe I want to try and put it somewhere where it's not very likely to be touching another tile. Of course, somebody could pay a chip to move this tile around. And you can move things to be, if this was set up, like Tetris-y, let's say this was like this, and this was like that, right? You can't rotate the tile, so maybe this is, let's just say the tile happened to be in this direction, right? If it was here, right, somebody could move it down and over and down if they wanted to do that. So that's what you can do with moving the paying a chip to move. You can't move them diagonally, you can't rotate them, they just have to be able to move freely into spaces. So it's recommended you pay your chip before doing any kind of movement on the board, just so that people know that you've paid it and you're not kind of backing out of that decision. So again, right, so like this person might take this tile, and they might say, I'm going to just set this over here. And then the next person might say, I'm going to take this tile and set it down here. And the next person might say, I'm going to take this tile and I'm going to put it right there, right? And you're just kind of going around placing tiles out there to see what's going to come of this situation, right? What's going to be the end result of placing these tiles. And again, after you start placing tiles, you may go, okay, I only have so many tiles left, maybe I only have 10 tiles left, and I go, I'm going to take a stack of these things, look for a goal. Do I think I could get 5 red? Looking at the red I have and what's out here, I think it's possible that I could meet that goal. I'm not so sure about 5 gray. 3 red's already done, though it could be more could be added, so that's maybe risky. I don't see this happening at this point. I don't see that as likely to happen, so I see these ones based on this configuration so far as being possible. Maybe I'm just going to go shoot for in between. I'm going to take the 4 tile, right, and then I'm going to say, how likely do I think that is to happen? And I might say, I think that's pretty likely to happen. So I'm going to, I put it face down. No one would know what my goal is, because otherwise they try to sabotage me. But at the end of the game, then you would flip over your tiles to show what your goal was and to see if that was met. Right? And so as things go around, maybe on another turn, I put this tile there, and then somebody puts this down here, and somebody takes this and puts it over here, right? And then I take this and I put it right there. No. But what if somebody took this tile and put it, well, I don't know that that's really a threat here. But anyway, you can't even see what I'm doing there. But they could take that tile and place it right there, and then all of a sudden my goal of 4 has been destroyed, right? And then right, I could take something. And so anyway, you're just filling in these shapes, and I could be, you know, like I said, paying coins to move things to different spots, right? So on and so forth. That's basically kind of an overview of how the game works.